Welcome to Sister Musings. I'm Tiva.
I'm Risa.
And last week we talked about the pivot, and we're not done with that yet. But first, Risa has something to say.
Y'all, I need to talk about watermelon and what the stigma of watermelon and black people have done to my life.
Okay?
Which is why this episode is called You Know What You Say, What They Say About Black People and
And
Watermelon.
watermelon, yes.
So yeah.
All right. So last week I talked about my pivot and how just we're being unemployed for a year and how I'm trying to kind of refocus right now. And as far as am I focusing bet on trying to gain employment, or am I focusing on just trying to do my own thing? And I think one of the things I had to do first, I had to kind of just step away. I stepped away for about 2 weeks and not I didn't I just went off all the job sites, everything, and just not I didn't apply for anything. So it's just I can get my head together, get back to who I was and what my goals were. Some of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to increase my social media engagement so I can grow our company, which is called Red Velvet Pumpkin Patch, and then just promote the show more actively, be more focused on Poshmark, eBay, and Etsy, and just kind of get out of my, like I said, get out of my head, just redirect some of um, the negative self talk. Um, so what did I actually do this week to work towards my goal? I it was a lot of this self revaluation. I started to journal a little bit more, especially when I start talking about myself negatively. I'm not going to be able to do something. And but I did start applying again. So I did go back in. I revamped my resume again, and just started applying for jobs and going for jobs. Just like I said, I just started putting myself back out there. Not having really got any. I got no, haven't got any. Well, I got some rejections, but so I'm still waiting on others to come in. But I also know that because I am applying, but I'm also doing this, I I'm just if they come, they come. If the rejections come, they come. I know that I'm working on this. The only thing I do need to be a little bit more active on social media. I did drop the ball on that, um, but that's one of my things this week that I am going to start picking back up on is the social media engagement, making sure I'm doing that. But I am like I said, I did set out a schedule for how we do this show, and I got that laid out. How we will now be. We will record on Tuesdays, but we will plan our show the day after, so we're not scrambling like on Sunday night, Monday night, trying to plan a show for Tuesday.
Yeah.
Um, and Poshmark and eBay, I I went on there. I guess Poshmark is like eBay is not one of the things you share, but Poshmark you do. So I did do some sharing. But we are gonna have to. One of the things that keep you active is listing.
Yeah.
So I do need to go and try to get some more stuff so we can list more items in order to get to get us out there in the algorithm.
Yeah, and I need to help on that too.
Yeah.
Like get some stuff listed, go through our stuff and see if there's things that we have that's not listed.
Yeah.
Start there.
Start there. So I think right now, like I said, what the goal that was easiest to maintain at this point was really just the planning of this show and trying to get a schedule out. Um, but like I said, I do need to just be active on social media. And then another thing is, I kind of get to the point like I know I don't want to be in front of the camera. Like right now, we don't do things in front of the camera, but eventually we are going to have to get in front of the camera.
Get in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting.
It is. So, I think what's successful look like in our next episode when we do another check in would be that I have a little bit more engagement. Like I'm out there engaging on social media, and then we're starting to get some feedback from some people. And what's crazy is, last night, my son, he went to his friend's house because his friend wanted to record, because he finally put out a song that he has had since for Jamie. I think he said for 2 years, and he put the song out and immediately got feedback. People were like, "Where can I find you? Are you on this? Are you on that?"
Oh, they
So
put
like,
it on YouTube?
he put it. I don't know what he put it on, but
Okay.
he got feedback. People were actually asking him about his music, like, "Where can I find you? This is really good." So last night he decided he wanted to record, and his thing was, "Y'all been telling me to put this out there." And Maurice like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, "You have never talked," but it's like that. Like, you can hold something, but if you don't put it out there so people can see, you're never gonna know if they're gonna like it or not. And um, I so that just kind of hit me last night, that when he said he was going over there to help him record, um, that one of the things was he was sitting on the song for 2 years, and he put the song out thinking that it was, scared to put it out, and then he finally put it out, and then people automatically like, "Dude, where are you? Are you on Spotify? Are you on this? Where are you, so I can listen to more of your music?"
Okay.
So I'm glad for him about that.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things. So hopefully my success next week will look like I'm actively on social media engaging, and people are engaging back.
Okay.
I know I'm not going to get 10K followers, but I will have some type of followers next week. And then we just kind of grow from there. And then we'll start, seeing sales, because once people start engaging, then we can start redirecting people to Poshmark. We can start directing people to our Etsy store. We can, and our eBay store. And like I said, we'll put links in our thing here too, so you can find us on social, on those platforms. But I don't feel down. I feel like, okay, everything is still. I mean, I feel like I'm in a better headspace, and I know what I'm expecting. And so I'm doing this, like I said, I'm doing the applying, and I'm doing this, and I'm just in a better place. I don't feel like I'm behind the curve anymore. I feel like I'm just kind of riding it, and just seeing where it kind of takes me at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's me for the week. But so you said we need to talk about Black people and watermelon.
And watermelon.
What is going on with Black people and watermelon? I mean,
yeah. So okay, so Black people and watermelon. So I was so this lately, these last couple of weeks, I've just been eating watermelon. But all my life, I've never really liked watermelon. And when I started eating it like a couple of weeks, I'm like, I wonder, why haven't I been eating this before? And it occurred to me that when I was younger, I didn't like watermelon because of the stigma. So, growing up, I would see pictures of what they call caricatures of Black people with oversized lips, oversized nose, just exaggerated features, eating watermelon.
Okay, well, I mean, let's clarify that first.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we saw it. Okay, don't think that we would go into a store and they had stuff like that. But what it was, remember, we were raised by parents that grew up during the civil rights time. Mm-hmm. Our parents pretty much were 10, 11, 12 when the Civil Rights Movement, the Civil Rights Act was actually passed.
Yeah, it was probably about 10, 12. Yeah.
Middle school age. So they were about middle school age when the Civil Rights Act passed. So they lived in a time before that. Mm-hmm. So my daddy never really talked that much about racism in the South. I think he just started talking about it, especially when it came to him being in the military. Yes. But he actually never talked about growing up in racist Georgia. Mm-hmm. Mama talked. She talked about it, because I think daddy lived more Atlanta.
Yeah, so he was surrounded by Black people.
Yeah, a lot of Black people. So, and Mama grew up more Covington, which she was still surrounded by Black people, but Covington was still a white ran town. Yes. Whereas Atlanta was still, I would say they probably was still white ran, but I can't explain it. The community was mostly black, but in
Mhm.
Atlanta, probably always really kind of been black. I guess not really always, but it would have been a time when Martin Luther King was here.
Yeah, they have more influential
Black
here.
people here, so yeah,
Mhm.
and with the schools and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
so Mama. So when we say you saw these pictures were either described to you or you
Or
saw them in our history book because they
yeah,
taught history during the time.
yeah, they taught
Okay.
history, or you would see
Old
it on
cartoon,
TV.
yeah,
Yeah, on
old
cartoons.
cartoons, right? Bugs
And
Bunny,
so,
you're right.
yeah, and so
Mhm.
Mama told me one time about black people, white people make jokes about black people eating watermelon.
Yeah.
So I think
Again, and we heard the jokes,
yeah,
and like even with our little white friends, you think about it now. I'm like, oh, that bitch. I'm sorry, but she was being nasty. You think about things that white kids said to you as younger, and you realize that they were being nasty.
yeah. So
So
it's just like, so I didn't like eat watermelon. I I wasn't particularly fond of the taste when I was little, but because I knew that it was associated with, like negatively towards black people, it was kind of like more of a defiant thing too. Like I'm black and I don't like watermelon. Like, so I didn't eat it. So lately though, I've been eating more watermelon because I'm like, it's good for you, and so I was just looking up, okay, where did this whole black people watermelon come from? Why were we stereotyped in a negative way about it? So one thing is, so after the Civil War, when black people, the newly freed black people, newly freed enslaved people, they would grow and sell watermelon.
Okay.
And of course, like people in the South, they didn't like that. They were making money.
Yeah.
They didn't like that. So
this is all you got to remember that this is after they have lost a lot of money because they lost their slaves.
Yes.
So
they
they're
didn't
free
want
labor.
them to be sufficient anyway. They wanted them not to be sufficient. So they would have to come crying back.
Yeah.
So they started associating, like, it's all kind of propaganda where they said, well, watermelon, they associated with being dirty because they would eat it with their hands. You didn't need like a fork or nothing. You just eat it with your hands. So they associated with being dirty, with being lazy for some reason. I'm like, why is that lazy? Because I guess because of the way they eat it.
Okay.
So, and then just being simple minded, and all that was surrounded by, okay, look at the way they're eating it.
Yeah.
They're dirty. It's messy. They're simple minded because they're not using utensils. Okay. Do you use utensils to eat an apple? But anyways.
Exactly. It's not like you're picking up the whole watermelon and eating it. You're eating it by the slice. Yeah.
But it is messy. It's drippy.
Oh yeah, watermelon is very drippy. Yeah, even with the little cubes, it's very drippy.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't even eat that without dripping. Yeah.
So they gave it a negative spin of black people and watermelon. And so they would even print like postcards where with these depictions of black people in watermelon. And it's just, like I said, they would have like postcard, they call them coon cards.
Coon
cards.
Okay.
With these depictions on it. That's crazy, right?
It is.
And they would have like depictions, like cartoon depictions of black people fighting over watermelons. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that they did. Like it was crazy. So this kind of, as a child, it stuck with me because of the pictures alone, and then the fact that mom was like, yeah, they associate, watermelon is supposed to be negative. It's supposed to be a joke.
Yeah,
for black people.
It is for the it was.
So somebody asked me I forgot somebody asked me, why did they do that with fried chicken? I think it was Nikki that asked me that. So he was like, why didn't they do that with fried chicken? I was like, maybe because they like fried chicken. Or I don't know. But he did do the point. He was like, well, why didn't they do the same thing with fried chicken? Like, they picked us in negative.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. But yeah, so I didn't like watermelon. So, but
I wonder, was it because
with fried chicken?
Well, with fried chicken, we probably didn't own too many livestock.
Yeah.
And in order for us to get chicken, we would have to buy it from them.
Yeah.
And if they depicted us as being fried chicken people, which they did.
Yeah, they did. There was some fried chicken.
Yeah, there was still fried chicken jokes. I mean, I don't think that it's nothing. You know, they don't get me wrong. They were still fried chicken jokes, but we still had to buy it from them. And if they made it too negative, we wouldn't buy it.
Yes.
We wouldn't buy that chicken from them.
So now I'm starting to embrace the watermelon. I'm like, okay, so because now that, so it's a shame because that could have been something big for black people. But there are a lot of black people that still grow and sell watermelon.
Oh yeah, I mean the thing about it is I don't really like buying them in the store because one, they'd be very expensive. But there used to be, I don't know, I'm guessing he passed because I don't see him anymore. But you remember up on oh God, racetrack?
Yeah, he
used to sell them out the back of his truck. So I know that for a fact because even Mama and Daddy, I don't think that they really they buy them from the store now, but I do know that for a long time they bought their watermelon on the back of a truck. But I'm thinking that's just because that's what you did.
Yes.
And it sounds because it would always be an older black man with a truck with a thing full of watermelon, and you buy your watermelon from them, and it would be the best watermelon. It'd be the sweetest watermelon.
Yes. Yeah, and this we were in the store this weekend buying a watermelon, and we ran into this older black gentleman that showed us like how to pick one out, like saying like if it's the yellow side, if you turn it over and it got a yellow.
One was a yellow belly.
Yes, he said because he said that tells you that it's been sitting on the ground in the sun.
Yeah.
So, so they say black people still know a lot about watermelon.
Yeah, Mama did because she used to say that. Mama said she didn't buy watermelon if it didn't have a yellow belly.
Yeah.
She said, look for the yellow belly. She said, because that means it was laying on the ground and it's been there, and it means it's fully ripened.
Yeah. And he also was like, the best watermelon is from Mississippi. He was like, is this something that's
really? Mm-hmm. Because I've had a boiled sound watermelon, and those are pretty good.
Oh, really?
I'm going to have to try a Mississippi watermelon, because that Boy Sounds watermelon used to be delicious.
Well, I'll never try it unless they ship it here, because, I'm not going to Mississippi.
Well, no, it sounds in North Carolina.
Oh, good. No, I'm saying I would never find out about the Mississippi watermelon, because I'm not going to Mississippi. Unless they ship one here for some reason, I'm not going to Mississippi. So I'm embracing watermelon again. Well, not again.
Not never again. Liked it.
Never liked it. And they're good. Like, they're not overly sweet.
No. Well, you can't get them sweet.
You can't get them sweet, but they're not. I mean, they're not sweet like chocolate. Like, it's a good snack because they're sweet, but they're not overly sweet like eating a candy bar.
Yeah. I like them because if you're thirsty and it's cold. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, you get that sweet and that water, that juice, and it's like it's like drinking water.
Yes.
I have never, ever not liked watermelon. So, like, never. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Depict me. Depict me. Draw me how you want me, draw me. But guess what? I'm eating this delicious antioxidant watermelon, and y'all can have that nasty cantaloupe with it's no flavor. Honeydew melon? No. The things they don't have no juice. Honeydew.
I don't like
a cantaloupe. They are tasteless.
I don't like those. Mama used to eat that.
I don't know how can you eat that? There's no taste.
I don't. Yeah.
I have tried to embrace a cantaloupe, and I wanted to throw it against the wall.
Yes.
like, don't give me that. What is this? But watermelon. I don't care. Depict me how you gonna depict me, because this is deliciousness. I be in the store picking up my watermelon chunks every chance I get.
But yeah, so you talk about the water content.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, the one thing there is 92% water.
So
it's good for hydration.
It's very. I mean, when I say you could be thirsty and get a piece of watermelon and don't even have to get a glass of water.
Yes.
It's just like I said, it's hunger and thirst all at the same.
All at the same time. So is that so it also I'm sorry. It also is good in vitamin A.
Okay.
A good source of vitamin A and vitamin C. And it's more vitamin C. I think it's like 23% of your daily value.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
In a 238-gram slice. Now I don't know how much that actually is. Okay. But most people eat them in like little, little quarters. So yeah, you get vitamin C, you get vitamin A. And I was trying to.
Was it good for indigestion? Because sometimes if I have an indigestion, I eat some watermelon that calms my stomach right down.
It might not be that it's good for indigestion. It might be that it just doesn't aggravate the acid in your stomach.
Maybe it's so. It's just, you're right. It's a good burp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will get burp.
That's all it is. It's mostly water.
Okay.
So the good thing, also about vitamin C is vitamin C helps with collagen production. And one of the things we talk about being middle age. That's good.
You talking? Okay, wait a minute.
And that's why black don't crack. No,
no, because that makes sense. Because and this whole time we sitting here eating watermelon, you trying to figure out why we don't wrinkle until we are 102.
Yeah. Our collagen is there. Yeah.
So we're eating watermelon, and that's why we look like I said. We don't, like you said. Oh, she's 102, but she look like she's 60. No, I'm not saying that, but if we don't wrinkle early, and if we've been eating stuff like watermelon, that's one of the reasons. Yeah. And you're talking about a long line of people that have eaten it. Because I'm not saying, because collagen, because once you start building something like that up, you can pass it on, that DNA.
Oh, you know what? I wonder. Yeah, you know what? You might be right.
Yeah.
But it stays hydrated. Yes, I thought that was interesting when I was reading that. So vitamin A, it's also good for potassium and magnesium, which you need for magnesium is good for your muscles.
Okay.
And potassium, and so it's got all these benefits, but that you're missing out on by not eating. I'm like, oh my God.
But what's crazy is and another thing, like, okay, so stuff that could, how can I put it? So we were also eating, like you said, how we have high content of pork. Black people have, we have diabetes, high blood sugar, because of the food that we ate. And they gave us food that wasn't good for us. And the one thing that was good for us, they depicted it as being bad for us. Yes. Or not bad for us, but depicted us as minstrels,
like buffoons,
yes. Because we was eating it, and that was one of the best things for us. But you wasn't depicting us when we were eating chitlins and pig feet, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I love me a good barbecue pig feet. But they just wasn't that they weren't good for us. But watermelon, you eat some watermelon, and but because we were making money off of that. Then we weren't making money probably off the pig, because we didn't, like I said, we didn't own, every once person owned it. But a watermelon's not hard to grow. You seed it, you plant it, and you can grow them. Yes. So they're probably really, really hard to grow.
Which is my saving. You see that big thing of watermelon I got in there. I cut it up, but
so they have seeds?
Yeah, they have seeds.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. We bought like a big one. Like a big one that has seeds.
Okay.
So it's very sweet. It's very good.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'm embracing watermelon again.
Okay.
Or not again. I'm embracing it,
So
period.
finally.
Yes, I said this is going to be my summer fruit.
Oh, it's always been mine. I love me some watermelon. This is my winter fruit, my summer fruit, spring fruit. It's like really the only fruit that, because I mean, I like a good orange and the apple strawberries, but give me some watermelon. I'm great.
Yeah.
Like I really do like watermelon. I can't stand biting into a watermelon that don't have the sweetness. And I can look at a watermelon and say, oh, that's not gonna be sweet.
Really?
Even the cut up ones, yeah. Mm-mm.
Oh, I haven't got that good yet.
Yeah, you can smell it. You smell it when you open it.
Oh, okay.
So you just kind of know.
When we cut into that,
you can smell
you
it.
can smell it.
Yeah. But if it doesn't have a smell or the smell is faint, it's not going to be sweet.
Okay. So that's my watermelon story.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're finally embracing it.
I'm
Because,
going
like I said, it's really, really good.
It is, and it's good for you.
It's delicious. So, but like I said, I hate that that's something that and like I said, and all because, and like I said, it wasn't even about the health benefits. It really was about them seeing us make money.
Yes. And just because because they saw us make money, they just made it, like I said, like it's like psychological. Because it's like, why, like you depicting somebody like that?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's gonna give people some pause to say, oh, okay.
Yeah, and like I said, even with us, even though the pictures weren't out there when we were coming up, we still watched old cartoons, and they would be in those cartoons. So we still actually kind of saw it.
Yes.
So, okay, interesting. So what? Oh, God, it's been a week.
Okay.
It's been a week. First, we're gonna talk about. His name is Nathaniel Ledbetter. Yes, and he is the Speaker of the House of Speaker of the Alabama House of Representatives. So, at a press conference during a special session of their congressional redistricting maps, Ledbetter said he hoped that the Supreme Court will overturn the 14th Amendment. Or specifically, the court findings against Alabama's maps under the 14th Amendment. So you're sitting there and you're watching TV.
Yes.
Or you're watching a clip and then you hear this. And I'm like, what 14th? Isn't it the one that freed the slaves?
Right? No, it was.
So the context of that thing of what he said is the Alabama legislature was responding to the Supreme Court's ruling in Louisiana versus Calais, which held race-based redistricting unconstitutional. So that means that you just can't make all black congressional
cities or
districts. Alabama quickly moved to reinstate previously blocked voting maps, which means they was basically carving out black districts. Mm-hmm. And which is crazy because I'm like, a lot of these were just yielding one black seat, but you still had all the other seats. Yeah. I'm like, but it's neither. I mean, and then it just takes away, like, okay, you still have the right to vote, but your voting rights are weakened. Mm-hmm. Because now you're definitely not going to have somebody. I mean, you can go vote, and you're not, your person that you want to win is not going to win. And it's, of course, it's going to happen like that. Your person is not going to always win. But when you're trying to make decisions on, who gets money where, and there's nobody there fighting for your district, and the person that's there to fight, the only person that you can vote for, the only person that represents you is not going to really kind of care about you. It hurt. That does hurt when they're put into office. These people make decisions about whether data centers go into your neighborhood. Yeah. A data center we had a data center here in Fayetteville, Georgia. It used 31 million gallons of water
Ooh.
And they didn't find out until recently. Like they knew that they had done it and they didn't tell nobody they had done it. 31 million gallons
Oof.
of water.
That's a lot.
Another thing, if they need a new dump
Mm-hmm.
or like a city dump,
Yeah.
and they decide, okay, we'll just put it over there. That's near your neighborhood. And there's nobody there to fight to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Um, it just affects anything. We remembered um when Obama was president. So this is 15 years ago. When the whole Flint River thing Flint,
Yeah.
Michigan thing came up, and there was lead in the water, and they knew, but they didn't do nothing about it because guess what? They was flushing it to the poor neighborhoods, which was basically black and brown, poor whites. We're trying to figure out why they couldn't figure out why their kids had learning disabilities and they birth defects and they high number because lead was in their water, but the good water was going to the car plant. Why the car plants need good water?
Yeah, really.
So it's things like that when you don't have representatives that's there for your interest. That's the stuff that happens, and this is why it's important. So no, we can still vote, but they're weakening our vote.
Mm-hmm.
And when you putting people there that's not going to have our interest in their mind, they're not going to have our best interest on their mind.
Yeah.
So when he said this, civil rights organization and legal experts pushed back hard. The NAACP Legal Defense Fund noted the 14th Amendment guarantees equal rights and due process for all citizens. That's what that is. It's the equal rights. And he said he wants to repeal the whole thing.
All right, so you're repealing the whole thing. You're not just talking about the maps.
But no, the way he said it was like I want them to. He said, hold on.
He said he was.
I want them to overturn the 14th Amendment, and he said within the context of the voting maps and not the context of equal rights.
But if you overturn it, you said overturn the whole amendment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So overturn the amendment. So you're saying you want him because you got an amendment, and then each amendment has
sections.
Yeah. So you want them to overturn the section that refers to the maps, or do you want them to overturn the whole thing?
And see, that's the thing. You are the Speaker of the Alabama House of Representatives.
Uh-huh.
You need to clarify your words.
Yes.
So you just can't get up in front of the reporters and say, I hope that they overturn the 14th Amendment. And you're not, okay, so you said the 14th Amendment. So when you say, I want them to overturn the 14th Amendment, me being a citizen saying, well, you want the whole thing overturned. You're not saying I want them to overturn 14th Amendment pertaining to the voting right, maps. You didn't say that. You said the 14th Amendment. It's just like if I come out and say I want them to overturn the Second Amendment, you're going to get upset. But no, that's not the part I meant. I meant this part. But I didn't say that.
He said what he said.
Yeah, he said what he said.
He meant,
yeah.
You meant what you said.
Exactly.
Don't try to clarify.
Now,
don't try to clarify anything because you could have said, I want them to overturn the third section of the 14th Amendment.
14th Amendment. And that's what he said. So later, so not in front of the cameras, not in front of the microphone that you were speaking in, later, he said he was referring to the court's findings against specific maps and not the constitutional amendment himself. But why didn't you clarify it at that press conference? Why was it later?
And then why didn't none of the reporters say, wait a minute, what you mean? What do you mean by that, sir? That's another thing. These reporters, and then non-question asking. I'm like, why are you a reporter then?
Yes. I'm like, nobody is pushing back. Like, why aren't we asking follow-up questions? Barbara Walters would have been like, hold up, wait, whoa, Ted Koppel would have been like, hold up.
Like, what are you doing?
Would have been like, okay, wait, sir, speaker. What do you mean? Which, you talking about the whole amendment, or are you talking about a specific section of the amendment? And so, but the clip had already circulated, even though he tried to, even though
he tried to retract.
He had to kind of retract because the clip
Because but my
circulated
thing
widely,
is,
and the original wording was so ambiguous because
it
it was.
was.
I watched it. It was very ambiguous. When you said the 14th, he didn't say the 14th Amendment
Section 2, asterisk at the bottom of the page.
page. He
He
didn't say
said,
that. He said the 14th Amendment. And so whether it was a slip or deliberate, an Alabama House Speaker calling to overturn the 14th Amendment in the context of fighting voting rights protection is significant and alarming because once again, you didn't say the particular of the amendment. You said the amendment.
yeah.
And
Like, hey, you know, it's not 1959. There's a thing called internet. And you go circle it. Before you can retract it, it's going to circulate. But they don't care.
yeah,
But like I said, he said,
yeah, he said
he said,
yeah, he said what he said and he meant what he
said.
said. Yeah. He said what he said and he meant what he said. He's from Alabama. He is probably my age or older. So he either grew up with a grandpappy that that revives him of the old South, and he wants that old South back.
And it's crazy that white men our age are acting like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, y'all?
Exactly. And
we
it's
went to high school together. Y'all really acting like that?
And then like, and is it because one, I think because they were told that we were dumb. Mm-hmm. They were always told that we would be the janitors. We would always be the ones that cleaned their house, took care of their kids, janitors. We would never be somebody that you wouldn't work with them. You'll never see them driving a brand new car like us. You'll never see them living in a 4-bedroom. You'll never see them living like us. And then they start seeing us live like them. And this
they were the first generation that really had to deal with it.
And they're the first generation that really had to deal with it in their face. And I was on Threads one time when I first started Threads, and this person was talking about he was from Florida, and he was probably from the Panhandle part of Florida, which is basically that's really the South of Florida. You know, the rest of it's to me, I feel like anything under Orlando is transplants, but really like that Panhandle part, that top part.
Yes.
He said he had after college. That means he didn't even go to college for Black people, and that's another thing. A lot of us went to HBCUs, yes. So they went to college, and there probably was a sprinkle of Black people there, one or two. So they probably thinking, okay, there's only one or two of them. You know, there's only a few of them going to college. Well, we actually did go to college. We went to HBCUs. Yeah. So they thought that we weren't getting educated, and we were getting educated. So then when they actually went out into the real world and they went to a job interview or they went to work and they're trying to figure out why their supervisor is Black or why their coworker is Black and stuff like that, they realized, oh, y'all went to college. And now I got to compete with you. My daddy and my grandfather never had to compete with anybody. They just had to show up and they got a job. Yeah. And now I got to compete with you, and I'm not supposed to be. And in the story, he was saying that he would move to D.C. and he would ride the bus to work, and he would see these Black people, and he would be like, oh, they have to go to work early around here. And he said that it took him, and they live in such nice houses. Oh no, he thought it was. He said it was a very nice neighborhood, and he would see them, on the streets and stuff. And he thought that they was go. He said they go to work early because he said he would be going to work, and so he would be about 7 o'clock in the morning, and he thought they have to be to work early here. He said it took him 2 weeks to realize that they weren't going to work. They weren't going to work. They were leaving the house to go to work. Okay. And because he had never seen Black people live like that or have jobs like that. He really thought that they were, because he's thinking, he's like that, he thought that they were going to the house to work, and they were actually leaving the house to go to work. And it took him 2 weeks to realize that's what was happening. He literally thought that he was looking at maintenance being in maids go to work because that's what his life was being. And so, and he was my age, in his 50s. So you telling me in the 90s, you never saw a Black person work? I'm like, you never looked at the Cosby Show? And this is why there was such a pushback from white people when it came to the Cosby Show. That's not realistic. How can two Black people be doctors and a lawyer? Yeah. I'm like, it happens. I'm like, that can happen. They go to college. You know, you go to college, we go to college. So I think that that's a lot of things that's going on now. It's like they just like it's almost like they're living their grandfather and father's wet dream of restoring some type of normal. And I'm like, y'all, we're not gonna go back to that. I mean, even if you push us out of your workplace, we'll find something else to do. We're never gonna be, like I said, we're never gonna be put down, like that again, unless you put us in shackles, and that's gonna be a bloodbath. So, so that's but all this is about rolling back. They're trying to just roll back all these voting rights because they think that that's the only way to kind of keep us down. But I hope that what we'll see is Black people, because we're hard-headed people, that we surge, and that in that surge, that no matter how they redraw these districts, that it's gonna have them fighting for their lives, or they'll lose a seat to somebody that's kind of moderate or something like that. So I'm when I'm saying that, like I said, I know the ball is rolling on this. And matter of fact, a South Carolina representative said that in the state house, he was like, they were going to their house was going to try to just do the redistricting, and he was like that we had Republicans that sided with the Democrats, and it got shut down. Because he was like, if we do this, we're going to motivate them to vote even more.
Because we gonna do like you tell us we can't, we gonna do it.
So the governor now has to call a special session in order to vote them to do it.
So they still pushing like that?
Some of them are. I think the Mississippi governor, he shut it down because I think it once again was one of those where if you push them, they're gonna fight back.
So they're not gonna do it. But I'm like, why? Just let the maps be the maps.
Exactly. Well, just like Kemp signed a bill where Atlanta, if you run in office in Atlanta, you can't put whether you're Republican or Democrat by your name. Now
just Atlanta?
Just Atlanta. So the rest of the state can tell whether they're Democrat or Republican, but Atlanta can't.
They're trying to get a white person to be mayor.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
But we just go by the name, right? Usually. I mean,
we'll figure it out. And that's another thing. I'm like, y'all do know that we are on social media, we talk, we do all that. We have meetings. So none of that stuff that you do, we're still going to be able to inform each other of who is who. Right? Okay.
And there's signs. Well, they can't put
it on signs either. I don't think they can put it on their signs or anything like that. So, that's a lot.
Okay. RFK.
Yes.
Antidepressant. So what's going on there? Because we can't have antidepressants, but he can snort cocaine
off a toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And do heroin and go around picking up dead animals and looking for their penises.
What? And when does he say this? And who's letting him go? Who is his publicist? Who is his what do they call him? His chief of staff. Do they have to do the secretary? Because who is letting him go on these podcasts and say this stuff? And these people I just want to understand, like, with politics, where's the professionalism anymore?
It's gone. There is no professionalism in politics no more. Not with this
administration. What is this?
Yeah.
Like when they were talking about this is not only professionalism, but just it just great. Like for instance, when Trump was talking about the strikes with Iran, calling them off. I'm trying to figure out what was going on that RFK and Dr. Oz was standing behind him. What the fuck they got to do with the strikes in Iran? It's no nothing. It's just so random. Where's your Secretary of War and your Secretary of State But you got these two bozos
Wait
standing
a minute,
behind
where
you.
were they?
I don't know. Were
Because
they talking about something else? and
they
you
were
happened to
talking
mention-
they were talking about something else, and I don't know what they were talking about, but I believe they were talking about, because Ebola is making a comeback.
Oh, okay.
So they may have been talking
Maybe
about
that's
that,
why
and yes,
and Trump just came out with that random stuff.
because
so the Iran strike thing was the random part.
yes, the Iran strike thing was the random part, not them being there. Because whatever they were doing, it was about health. Because JD Vance just realized he has, the one thing he has done is that he has suspended all basically hospice payments. Yes.
Well,
Yeah. Because he said it was too much fraud. But my thing about it is, okay, so if you're dying and you need hospice care, you just, what happens? You don't get Medicare. Medicaid's not gonna pay for
who
it.
suspended it?
JD Vance did.
He
And I'm like,
suspended what?
a hospice new what they call it? They don't call it hospice. They call it something else.
So the vice president, who has nothing to do with that stuff, did that? That's not his lane. That's what I'm saying. This random shit. Why is JD Vance doing that? That's dope. How did he announce it?
Well, he announced it. Because technically, Dr. Oz is the director of the Centers of Medical Center of Medicaid and Medicare Services. Technically, he's the one who can stop it. I guess JD Vance just announced it.
Maybe he announced it. 'Cause I'm just like, what? Why are you announcing that? You're the vice president. You're not really supposed to be doing anything. Like, just.
I think you should be. Shouldn't you be like in a bunker just waiting for Trump to die?
He really shouldn't be doing it.
I feel like he shouldn't either. Maybe
he shouldn't be talking.
No.
Anyway.
So RFK said that we got too many antidepressants out there. He wants to do a more holistic medication approach. I'm like, so we.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this when they finally legalized weed federally? Is that what they're trying to do?
I guess.
So he's going to evaluate prescription patterns, push for de-prescribing.
But some people need that. But some people need their antidepressants. Like, you have people that literally schizophrenics that need their medicine.
He said train clinicians in alternatives and emphasize holistic non-medication approaches. So
what was that? Like meditating? What does that mean?
Shrooms.
Yeah, I mean, so when you say holistic, you're talking about shrooms and weed, right? Is that what you're talking about?
How much stock he owned in the weed company? The government probably bought up some cannabis,
and I guarantee they have.
And now they about to push.
It's like every day is just.
It's so crazy.
Every day is something. Every day.
So who does this affect? Okay, so 1 in 5 American adults deal with depression. So they're just going. So what's going to be the rollout of this? They're going to gradually decrease, or just one day wake up and say, okay, doctors are not allowed to prescribe it?
See, that's why I want to know, how does this work? And do you have the right? And can you do that? And you're okay. I understand you're the Secretary of Health and Human Services, but can you do that?
I guess so. If he's over it, I guess he can.
Because the FDA fall under him. Yes, I guess it would fall under him. Health and Human Services.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see. Because that's crazy. But I guess they can criminalize doctors that continue to prescribe. or make it a schedule. Make it a drug, a schedule one, or a
Oh,
schedule.
like a schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so FDA falls under the Health and Human Services. So I guess, like I said, I want to know, how did that work? Do they deem all that to be? I guess they would deem it to be
Like kind of like weed, not weed, but like weed, yeah, like weed,
okay.
cocaine. Make it a scheduled drug where, well, hopefully they won't criminalize it. Maybe they won't go that far.
Well, there's a Center of Drug Evaluation and Research. Let me see.
So what is this man up to?
Because he just fired somebody today. And I forgot who he fired. Okay. It's a hot mess. And then, oh God, it's just so much. Because we got so much. I want to talk about this slush fund, but we might talk about that next week. Okay. And how we're going to. Okay, so Trump sued himself to get $10 billion. And then
What?
Yes, because the IRS, well, he didn't sue himself, but he sued the government, which is him, because the IRS released his tax refunds or tax stuff. Then he said he would drop the lawsuit, but he only wants $1.7 billion. But now they're trying to set up a slush fund where the people that were prosecuted for January 6th can now file and get some money from that. Well, they call it, but they're not calling the January 6th people. So basically reparations, right? Well, they're calling it anti-weaponization of the government. And they have to fill out a form to get it. Well, there's a lawsuit out right now to try to stop it, but we want to talk about, just some movements and what we can do. Because I'm like, well, anti-weaponization, what about the 600,000 Black women that lost their jobs since you took office because you told everybody that they shouldn't be hiring Black women or they should get rid of them, and you had Elon come in and basically, gut departments trying to get black people out of their jobs. That's weaponization of the government. So I am going to actually apply for it. Because I'm gonna say one thing about it is they're gonna have to review every application. Yeah. So we're gonna have to flood the application system. Yeah. But he probably saying that right now because he wants them to vote for him during the midterms, but he ain't gonna give them that money.
No, he's gonna keep it for himself.
Exactly. He's gonna keep it for himself. We all know that.
They're just gonna bleed this country dry.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. I'm like, this is our tax money, and they're literally every week there is a new way they come up to take money out of the treasury. Every week there is a new scheme that he comes up with to just take money, and he is literally taking our money, and Congress is just sitting there letting him do it.
What are y'all there for?
Exactly. Just go home. Mike Johnson, we can't live out $174,000 a year. What? That's why we have to trade stocks. Basically making a plea why that they get to do inside trading because they can't live off just $174,000 a year. You can't? Oh, really?
You can't? Oh, so you can't.
So you can't.
But we can live off 50,000.
Or 720. Some people live 725.
Yes.
Minimum wage.
Let's talk about that. That minimum wage is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And you can't live on $174,000 a year. But like you said, we're supposed to do it for $15 an hour. And you fuss about that. Like this, go home. Go get another job if you can't do it for $174. So
okay. Oh wait. So we got off topic. Okay.
We did. We got so off topic. This government has made me so mad. I'm just so over it.
Get on my nerves. Like, oh god. Okay. So Alex Murdaugh.
Okay.
The guy from South Carolina who allegedly killed.
Well, no, he was convicted. He killed his.
He got convicted.
He got convicted.
He got found. Guilty.
of murdering his wife and son.
Yes. So now they're overturning the conviction.
Yes.
The murder
The
conviction,
murder
not the financial.
Not the financial stuff, but the murder convictions.
So why?
Okay. So somebody named Becky. So what's a Becky?
Is her name really Becky?
Becky Hill?
Oh, not Becky Hill.
Yes. So Becky Hill was a clerk.
Okay.
She didn't go to prison, but in December she pleaded guilty to 4 charges of obstruction of justice and perjury. Okay. She also pleaded guilty to 2 counts of misconduct in office. And the charges stemmed from the accusation that she allowed a photograph of Murdaugh in a holding cell to be taken to promote her book on the trial, gave herself bonuses, and used county money to buy dozens of lunches for her staff, prosecutors, and a vendor. Hill also showed a reporter a photograph that was sealed by the court exhibits and then lied about it.
So wait a minute. So she decided to take this trial and make money off of it.
So she's the county clerk, and since she had privilege to all this stuff, she's out to write a book and to use all this evidence to promote and write her book.
No, Becky, why?
And gave herself bonuses.
Wait a minute. What kind of bonus?
I guess money bonuses. Okay, so during the court proceeding, Judge Taylor admitted that if any jury tampering was actually uncovered, this would be a very different sentence. When the South Carolina law enforcement ran its investigation, the agency interviewed the 11 remaining jurors, and none corroborated the tampering claims. But was she on the jury?
Who, the Becky?
She wouldn't have been on the jury, right?
I thought she was
She was just the court. She was just the county clerk of court. She was the clerk of court. So no, she wouldn't have been in the jury.
Yeah.
So as the clerk of court, she took all the evidence from the court proceedings and then used them to write a book.
I mean, is it a bad hustle? No. It's
not a bad hustle.
But so if she had the record, why was she messing with the jury? Why did she tamper with the jury?
Well, I guess asking them questions what was going on behind the scenes. So, anyways, so we know that in September of 2023, Murdaugh was sentenced to 40 years in prison. This is for his financial crimes. But in March of that, he was convicted. Okay, so March of 2023, Murdaugh was convicted of killing his wife Maggie and his son Paul, and which the murders took place in 2021. He was convicted in 2023.
Okay.
Then, following September, he got sentenced to 40 years in prison for the financial crimes. So the financial crimes, they're 2 different trials. So he still is in jail for the financial crimes. It's not like they let him go.
Okay.
Now, lawyers for the Murdaugh, I'm getting this off of the CBS News. The information about Becky was on ABC4 News. And it was written, like I said, this was written December 2025, December 8th, 2025. This is after she was found guilty for the charges that she had done.
Okay.
So this article about Murdaugh came out May 13th of this 2026. So lawyers for Murdaugh pushed for a new trial based on improper conduct by the county clerk, who later wrote a book about her time working on the trial. And it's the fact that I guess what she did was because she allowed pictures to be taken of him in jail.
Uh-huh.
Then she also released pictures that were sealed by the court.
But why would she do that? Because you're the clerk of court. You should know the rules.
I mean, she was giving herself bonuses, though. And then she was taking people to lunch. And that may be another thing. If you're taking the prosecutors to lunch, it could be they could say what she was trying to, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, you're right.
But they went.
She's a county clerk. She's a clerk.
The clerk of court.
Clerk of court. She was elected to do a job and she didn't. Because I think that's a elected position.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. While we respectively disagree with the court's decision, my office will aggressively seek to retry Murdaugh for the murders of Maggie and Paul as soon as possible. And that's a quote from South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson and his statement. And he said, he goes on, let me be clear. This decision does not mean Murdaugh will be released. He will remain in prison for his financial crimes. No one is above the law. And as always, we will continue to fight for justice. The Supreme Court, which is the Supreme Court of South Carolina, which ruled 5-0 in the favor of Murdaugh's appeal, said that the jury's efforts were in vain because Colleton County Clerk of Court Rebecca Hill placed her fingers on the scale of justice, thereby denying Murdaugh his right to a fair trial by a partial jury.
I don't think so though. Like okay, I understand she wrote the book she took, but how does that affect the way the trial went?
Okay. So the defense claimed Hill tampered with the jury by advising it not to believe Murdaugh's testimony, pressuring them to reach a quick guilty verdict and risk representing information presenting during the trial. But I didn't know a court would be in the court like that. I mean, this is what the defense presented, and the Supreme Court agreed with them.
Okay.
The Supreme Court decision today affirms that the rule of law remains strong in South Carolina. And this is a quote by one of Murdaugh's attorney, Dick Harper-Tulin, who's paying him because he's broke. Who's paying him? His brother, maybe.
Who?
Murdaugh's lawyers. Like, I wouldn't work for him because he was broke. He was stealing money from all his clients. He used his stolen money to pay them.
But I don't know, because that house that they had, did he sell the house?
Maybe so.
So he might. I'm sure.
Well, the thing, I guess maybe he was,
Because rich people broke is different from poor people broke.
It is. It is different. You're right.
Like when I'm broke, I have like -20 in the bank.
And his
people like, I'm broke because I only have $100, but I have 10 houses, a vacation house. Remember they had that beach house.
They did.
I have a vacation house and a thing. But they
not only that,
the stuff is not liquid.
And and that's true because he had the house, then he had the hunting ground, and he but not house dogs, but yeah, he kept people's dogs for them.
Yeah,
they're hunting dogs, so the hunting dogs
like
could be their kennel. That's right, they ran a kennel. Mm-hmm. Then they had a hunting ground. Then they had the beach house.
Yeah.
Then I'm sure his family goes way back to the Civil War, probably before that. I'm sure they still had slave money, and so he also had family money too. Yeah. They probably just couldn't get his hands on right away.
Yeah.
So
like you said, old Southern slave money.
Yes. So the court found that Becky Hill's conduct during the trial attacked Murdaugh's credibility in his defense. The court rightly described her conduct as breathtaking, disgraceful, and unprecedented in South Carolina. Probably not that unprecedented, just never done by a woman.
I know.
That's all that means. It was always done by a white man, just never by a woman. An appeals court rejected Murdaugh asked for a new trial in January. So he got rejected in 2024 by the appeals court, but the Supreme Court reversed it.
Okay.
Our justice system provides, indeed demands that every person is entitled to a fair trial, which includes an impartial jury untainted by external forces bent on influencing the jury towards a biased verdict, the court wrote in its opinion. Although we are aware of the time, money, and effort expended to this lengthy trial, we have no choice but to reverse the denial of Murdaugh's motion to a new trial due to Hill improper external influences on the jury and remand for a new trial. So one juror who testified during the appeals trial in 2024 said that when the jury began deliberations, Hill told the jury, "This shouldn't take us long." So the clerk of court is in there when they deliberate?
I don't see the clerk of court going to every trial. Maybe
Huh.
just that one because it was so big.
Maybe
Or
so.
maybe she made herself present because she knew what she was doing.
The jury wrote in her sworn affidavit that for the appeals trial, I had questions about Mr. Murdoch's guilt. But she said I had questions, but voted guilty because I felt pressured by the other jurors. Another juror testified that Hill told them on the day Murdoch testified this was an epic day. Though the jury said it did not affect their eventful decision to find him guilty, a third juror testified Hill told him to watch his body language. On the day Murdoch testified, something he said also did not later influence his verdict. So right now we only got one person saying that the verdict was influenced.
Okay, so
but with a murder conviction, I think it has to be all or none.
Unanimous.
Unanimous, yeah.
Okay.
Murdoch had initially claimed he wasn't at the family. Okay, at the family 48 acres.
That's what I'm saying. He got money. Nobody said who's paying the lawyer. Who is paying his lawyer? I'm like his family and him because he could sell all that stuff.
Okay. So he said he wasn't there, but then you could hear his voice on the phone when somebody was on the phone with him.
And plus his dad died. I'm sure he got left something.
That's what I'm saying. That's slave money. No, they. I'm gonna stop saying. Well,
I mean, they probably own slaves.
But they were, they go back way back. They were an old warrior family, but they were probably slave money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because free labor. I mean, of course you're gonna rack up money.
Yeah. So we all know that he did lie about being at the thing. So she probably really didn't have to do all of that with the one person. With the one person that was already had the question. To me, it seems like only one jury said that. So they had juries testify. All of them testifying that they was sure that he was guilty, but one said she wasn't sure. And she had just left it alone. The other jurors would have probably convinced her to change it.
Yeah.
If they would have been like one of those where you don't do them to kick your ass after this. But they probably by themselves could have convinced her to convict. They could not convict. I shouldn't say convince. No, how can I say it? They probably could have presented the information to her to show that while you're questioning this, here's the main thing. He said he wasn't there. His voice clearly shows that he was there.
Yeah.
That's your, when you say reasonable doubt, it goes out the window right there because he lied.
Yeah.
Why lie? So she didn't have to put her nose in it. Well, I'm trying to find if there's any other, because I could have sworn that I saw somewhere where they was going to go for the death penalty this time. So they better hope that they don't. But problem with that, death penalty is hard to kind of prove because that's why Casey Anthony right now is walking free.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever found the weapon. Did they ever find the weapon?
What, the
gun? Yeah.
I thought they did. I don't know.
Can't remember if they found the weapon or not.
What did he do with it?
I don't know. But hold on. So we'll probably come back some more because we are over an hour now. So one thing I do want to look up is if they're trying to go for the death penalty, if they found the weapon, and how much harder is it going to be to get an impartial jury because there's been documentaries. So many. There was a Hulu miniseries. Yeah. There's been documentaries. There's been articles. This is everywhere. I don't know. The only way that this can happen is some literally finding people who were living under a rock.
Yeah, like this is no way you're gonna get an impartial jury. This not because too many people know about it.
It's too many people have read it. Too many people have seen the evidence, and there's a book.
Wait, is her book out?
Yes, it's out. It's a book and there's pictures. And she allowed sealed documents that were supposed to not be unsealed to be unsealed to the book.
Wait, did they make her? They didn't make her take her book off the shelf?
I don't know how they did that. They might have made her take the book off the shelf. So we got to look more into that because now it's very interesting because it's a story I've been following since 2021.
Yeah, that's crazy. All that work.
And then on top of that, they didn't put her in jail. They should put her in jail because to me, at this point, I'm going to say, I think you're in the bed to get him out of jail.
I know, right? But she can't do nothing about the financial crimes.
No. But as the clerk of court, how could you make such an egregious mistake? That what you did was that's like next level. Like you either are very dumb or you knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
For you to do something like that. Because why were you talking to the jury? Because once the judge gives them the instructions, why are you back there talking to them? I didn't even know that the clerk of court went to court. I thought they were administration.
Yeah, they just make sure the records and stuff are filed.
Yeah, and make sure the judges get assigned to the case, right? You in there instructing juries? Okay. Anyways, interesting conversation. Yeah. So next week we'll probably still talk more about the pivot. I'm definitely gonna come back to the Murdoch story because I'm gonna pull some more information because, like I said, I've been following the story a long time and it's a very good story. They found some bodies in Stockbridge. They think they had a serial killer over there.
Oh no!
So we're gonna have to look that up and we'll talk about that. That's right here in our county.
Oh.
And then we'll have our big segment. I don't know what we'll talk about, but it probably, hopefully it will be good. It will be good. So we just I have an idea, but I lost it. Premenopausal brain, but I'll figure it out what I was thinking, and then we'll talk about it. So. Thank you so much for joining us and continue. I am going to put some links in our description. Like I said, we are on Poshmark. You can find us under Design 26 on Poshmark. On eBay, it's 26 Design or Design 26 as well.
It's Design 26.
Design 26. So Design 26 on Poshmark and on eBay. We are on Instagram. It is called Red Velvet Pumpkin Patch on Instagram, and then I also have Grab Life by the Cherries. You can find me on Threads and Instagram and TikTok. I don't have a lot of TikToks out there. I got to start doing it. And on Facebook, it's 26 Design on Facebook. But I'm gonna put the links in the description so you have that. And Risa runs the Velvet Pumpkin Patch social media page. I run the Grab Life by the Cherries Grab Life by the Cherries page.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to get better on our social presence.
Yes.
And our social media.
Yeah,
social media.
Social media. Okay. Well, I hope you have a great week and thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.